Hi everyone, SVB. You keep hearing it in the news. Silicon Valley Bank. It's the biggest banking failure since Washington Mutual in 2008. In this video, we'll be discussing the recent collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, how it happened, and what the current fallout is. So first of all, you need to know that SVB isn't a normal bank. Its primary clients are startups and venture capitalists, not the average Joe like you and me.
Did someone say my name?
Shut up, Joe. Go back to sleep. If you don't know what venture capitalists are, they essentially get money from investors to fund entrepreneurs and startups. In 2021, interest rates were near rock bottom. Low interest rates make borrowing money very, very cheap, and investing that money becomes very appealing since it wouldn't be doing anything sitting in a bank account. These low interest rates led to VC funding skyrocketing, and all these companies VCs invested in suddenly had a lot of money they had to put somewhere, so the obvious answer would be SVB, which has historically supported the VC and startup scene. SVB received about $200 billion in deposits, and they spent about $20 billion of it buying bonds. However, in 2022, the Fed dramatically raised interest rates. Thanks, Joe. This caused the value of the bonds SVB bought to go down by about $1.8 billion. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem because this loss is unrealized. It doesn't matter unless you sell, and you normally wouldn't sell. But as we've said before, SVB isn't normal. Another side effect of increasing interest rates is that VC funding dropped rapidly. Higher interest rates make it much more expensive to borrow money and much more costly to invest that money, as letting it sit accruing interest wouldn't be all that bad. The drop in funding made all these startups that relied on raising capital suddenly burn through cash in their bank accounts, their SVB bank accounts. In contrast to growing deposits in 2021, SVB had rapidly growing withdrawals in 2022 that it had to cover. It did so by selling off its bonds at a loss. To cover their $1.8 billion loss, SVB announced they would be having a $2.25 billion stock sale. However, this news arrived soon after Silvergate, a crypto bank, just announced its shutdown as the most recent domino to fall due to the FTX collapse.
Normally, this kind of loss wouldn't be impactful for the average consumer, as everyone is insured by the FDIC up to $250,000, so they would get most, if not all, their money back. That being said, this applies to almost none of SVB's clients, as only 2.7% hold $250,000 or less. Getting back $250,000 isn't much better than getting back $0 if you had millions deposited. SVB's clients, a bunch of cash-strapped tech companies facing one of the biggest tech downturns in the last decade, got spooked by this news, and instead of using common sense and adhering to game theory logic, they panicked and ended up causing a bank run. It wasn't just small startups either. Big companies like Roku, Roblox, Shopify, Sophie, crypto companies like BlockFi and Circle, biotech, even wineries, they all had exposure to SVB and could be dealing with delays to payroll, runway, or even solvency. Did SVB deserve this, though? What about all these VC idiots that were above bailouts, government support, and debt forgiveness? They're all coming out of the woodwork now asking for the Fed to step in since it's an issue that finally affects them.
None of them are better businessmen than me.
SVB was not gambling with risky bets like in 2008. Their loss was on bonds, which are historically one of the safest assets you can buy. SVB was a conservative bank. The real cause of this was SVB's client base. The panicked and greedy nature of their clients in the recent tech downturn caused them to turn what was a slight setback into a colossal failure that almost doomed them all. It even caused panic in London, with the Bank of London considering buying out SVB's London branch, which is a separate entity.
We'll have to see later this week what the future holds for SVB. It will probably be bought out by a bigger bank like JP Morgan. But thankfully, the Fed just announced that they would guarantee all deposits of SVB, so no catastrophic failure just yet. If you've watched this far, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one.